close on my new house tomorrow,
Okay.
so I'm moving out of town. So,
Okay.
I'm done.
So you're in charge tonight.
You have the hammer.
Oh my God. All right, how we start our meeting typically is we will go over everything. Okay. So we'll go over everything. We'll go meeting by meeting. Obviously tonight is the same variance on both properties, so we'll go over that as well. Including our meetings, I will be changing the seats on today's meeting. Kim, welcome back.
Thank you.
And this will be my last meeting as well. So I've been honored to serve this board. I've really enjoyed it for the last 3 years, but I have moved out of town. So I thank you all for the great meetings that we've had, and we'll adjourn the meeting. I apologize for being late.
We'll start the meeting, not adjourn it.
Yeah. We're gonna adjourn it either, but. Okay, tonight's meeting, the first case is variance 2025-319. Overhead installation of overhead door on the west side of the existing building, 22 feet 8 inches from the right of way, with the condition that only one business may occupy the entire property once combined.
You're ready to have comment.
Is that backwards?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's why I always let you handle it. Variance number variance 2026-32 for Ben Whitner. Petition for a variance which would permit allowing 29 parking spaces. When ordinance requires 189, the property is located on the northwest side of Indiana Avenue, State Road 13, and 0 feet north of Wood Street in the town of Syracuse. 1021 North Indiana Ave. All petitioners have been notified.
And,
Correct?
do you want to hear both together in this case?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
They're for the same property, so that would make sense.
Yep. So the second variance then, you want me to read?
I'll do it
All
for
right.
you. 2026-33 is Ben Whitner as well. Petition for a variance which would permit allowing 2 uses on 1 tract of ground, antique wholesale, and a coffee shop. The property is located northwest side of Indiana Avenue, State Road 13, and 0 feet north of Wood Street in the town of Syracuse.
All right. And as Brandon said, we're both hearing,
My first one.
we're notified. So you should recognize the property. We were there not too long ago. If you remember right, back 2025, we have had a hearing there. We ultimately approved warehousing, wholesale warehousing, 1 business in a commercial district. There was a condition that all the properties be combined. If you remember right, we got into pretty well big discussion about parking, use, what could happen. As you can see, kind of a unique property. The right-of-way line is pretty well that line of the building at those certain points through there. That's been approved, that's there. Petitioner is now back with a different request, and at this point, the first petition is asking for relief from parking requirements. Under the zoning ordinance, parking is subject to the use. So in this case, we're looking at 2 commercial type uses, one for a coffee location, which is proposed up in that northeast corner, and then the second would be retail antique sales. I'm assuming the other businesses are going away, or the other business will not be occupying it. That's for the petitioner. We'll get into that a little bit more. With that, then we also have the variance for the 2 uses. We're allowed 1 use per tract of ground. In this case, they want 2 uses within that whole building. Again, antique use, retail sales, and then coffee shopping on that. You've been properly advertised, notified, and we are good to go. Whoever is going to speak, we need to get forward.
Sure. Here's one.
Oh,
So, yeah.
oh, go ahead.
My name is Ben Wagner. I am leasing the entire building from Wayne Builders and do some investments. Currently, I'm running wholesale out of the building. I'd like to, from the previous meeting, when I had decided not to pursue storage units in the building, and I talked to the entire building, I decided to try to figure out ways to make it, make sense financially. In order to do that, I would like to have multi-use or coffee shops to have additional income, as well as antique antique store, wholesale. What I do is I do liquidations. I buy a space, and when our business is closed down, I'll go in and remove all the equipment and inventory and sell it on Facebook and eBay. Is my main process right now. What I'd like to do is turn it into a space where I can, a retail space that I can expand that from just online to in person as well to get another flow of customers. In my time, last couple months in the space, I've noticed whenever I have a customer in the door, they tend to shop more and there's more sales in that way, which is very beneficial to do.
And some of the antique stores I can think of, they have booths they rent out to folks. Is that something you're going to be doing? Is this totally your stuff?
I'd like to rent out some of the space. Like a vendor booth rent type situation.
It's one store, but different vendors, their tag, you buy their tag, it comes up to the counter, they get the whatever profit out of it for sale.
Yeah, so it'd be myself and 1 to 2 employees, running the store. So the vendors will not be on site, aside from maybe 1 to 2 days a month, coming in, restocking inventory, and cleaning up their space.
So basically the same as the Northwester antique store. Exact same, yeah.
Just a larger operation.
Well, correct, yeah. So now with that being said, so it's basically consignment, did you get the additional parking with the lease?
So I have, with the lease, I have access to the lot across the road.
Gotcha.
It would be tied under one lease.
Okay.
Okay, that said, is the property going to be combined?
We were still hoping to not combine, but have the lease contingent on, that it should be the, that the lot across the road would be parking for, the store.
So they don't want to decombine it, but in the lease, it will be combined.
Right.
So we would need legal for that, wouldn't we?
Well, yeah, okay,
There's not enough
if
parking.
the next owner, one of the concerns, same concern as before, I think we had with that.
So is the fence gone between the blue building and the parking spaces?
Yes.
Technically? Okay.
And,
Will that all be parking as well? Yeah, go ahead, you're good.
so the two sheds are gone, and all that space will be, all the grass there will be asphalted.
Parking for,
Yeah, so that'll be, back there will be, this alleyway here.
where's the semi drops gonna go in?
So the semis would only be on, so the store would be open tentatively Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All semi-traffic would be, after hours or on closed days. So I have my CDL, and I am the one that goes and picks up the stuff.
But where is your semi drop?
It will be back in this alleyway.
Okay.
I'll pull into the parking lot across the road and back in.
So it will not be on the front at all?
Correct.
Okay.
How about the coffee shop? I'm assuming they would get deliveries of coffee, food, beverages.
They'll have access to the same. The coffee shop will be open more days a week. They'll have access to the alleyway and the rest of the building, honestly. So they'd be able to get their delivery.
So there would absolutely never be a semi in their parking lot or pulled off to the side unloaded.
We're waiting on the door to be installed in the back alleyway. Once the door is installed and the driveway is asphalted, we'll make it to where, I can easily load and unload off, away from the main road.
And the front semi dock has been demolished, correct?
That will be asphalted.
And where do you park the semi when they're not?
Offsite.
thought about the coffee shop down in the building in the southwest corner at all? And the only reason I ask, just looking from a traffic flow standpoint, parking and whatnot, and I don't know renovation wise, I haven't been in the building, so I mean, it's easy for me to say that, but just from that standpoint.
It would be a lot more, invasive to make that into the coffee shop as far as plumbing, electrical, and all that. That building will be storage, dry storage for between myself and the coffee shop. As far as, there'll be no public access to that building.
You can't get to the coffee shop from inside the building, like the antique shop?
So the thought is this space here will be a mutual commons where both businesses can, use it, like if someone's in the antique store, if the husband comes in with their wife, and they're tired of walking around, they can go relax in the commons, get coffee, relax, hang out. And then the same, whenever they get coffee at the coffee shop, they can come and shop while they drink.
So it will connect, all the buildings will connect to the coffee shop. True.
Besides this outbuilding.
Right.
So then I just understand and ask you some questions just for clarification. It seems to me like you really have three uses, so that's not two uses, right? You have your wholesale business, where you buy your steak and people come in to look at that merchandise. You want to add a retail section for the antique part of it, and the coffee shop.
The antique wholesale will be combining the two. I have two separate LLCs for this. There'll be, the White Oak Trading Co., which is the antique. They would be they're the one, or that business is the one leasing the building. The HW Services, which is my liquidation, would be a consignor to the other store.
So you don't ever have clients or customers come in just to look at your wholesale product inventory?
Only when they're picking up. It's one, maybe two customers at a time.
So if I walk in the door, I can buy the wholesale items or I can buy the retail antique items. I'm not excluded from buying any of it.
Correct.
And do your customers typically need to bring larger vehicles or trailers with them to load up their items?
At times, the back store here will be dedicated to load out, where, if they need a back, or if they need to have a trailer, they'll be also loading.
So I actually have bought from him. So obviously I'm a construction company, I have bought a few things. So it was a little different when I bought in, obviously where the blue X is right there is where the door was originally. But for big loading, they did have space, which is now obviously changing, but it was back by the other door. So I guess at the end of the day, if you do have trailers back in there, you're losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parking spaces to get a trailer through, depending on how wide it is between the blue building and the white building there on the bottom. So is there enough room for people to park and still pull a truck through there? If say I'm at the antique store and I buy liquidation at the same time, do I have room to pull my truck and trailer back through the black area between the blue building and the yellow parking space?
Yes, so that'll be about 20 foot. So I was trying to decide if I was going to be parallel parking on both sides, to decide to opt or just a single side parallel parking to allow for additional.
Okay, so that is parallel parking over there as well.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Is then the idea, whether it's semis or the trailer, are they backing out?
They'd be backing in, and the two parking spots, the two parking spots up here would be it would be myself and one of my employee parking, where if we need to move or adjust, then we'd be able to do that for the customer, get them over back in.
And are you concerned at all that you would have people parking on that far west side and they might get stuck in there, if someone is
There,
doing a loadout?
there'll be enough room to pass. If we keep the loadout tight to the west building, where it gets built past the center.
I think the blue building, I would like to see no parking signs if this came through, because not everybody can back a trailer down.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the people that are buying from you can. But if I'm first parallel right there, I'm a little nervous about that because I'm losing a car here. You know, you've got parallel parking there, which,
You're saying no parking on the south side of the outbuilding?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That way we just don't have to deal with, well, I'm okay with the two on the bottom. I guess it'd be more the east side there on where the red X's are to make sure there's no parking there to ensure that,
You're talking these parallel parking spots here.
no, I'm okay with those. I'm talking on the blue building. Yeah. Right there where that one red X is. To make sure nobody's parking over there because
Same.
I'm sorry, but if I'm going to somewhere and I'm busy, I'm parking right there. Like,
Yeah,
almost guaranteed, someone is parking there, and that makes me nervous, because 20 feet is enough, but if you've got guys coming in there that don't, or whoever, doesn't know how to back in, you don't have much room between the light yellow one on the end of the building, nope, yeah, that one and that one, to get your trailer around off of that street to make sure that nobody's getting hit there. That would be my main concern.
So, from what I understand, you say no parking signs here
100%.
and no parking there.
I'm okay with that one if, it depends, I feel like you need to move, I know there's a garage door there, but I really do feel like you need to put them next to each other. If you're already employed,
Yeah.
if that door's blocked, you can move your car.
Right.
So I would like to see that parking spot moved, yeah, 100%. Just because most of the time people are probably coming in towards 13 and backing in, so the chances of that car getting hit are almost guaranteed. I mean, I'm hoping people know how to park their trailer, but I've also seen people back in the trailer. And that's a long backup to get back to that building. Even the parallel parking spots on the side make me nervous, truthfully.
So my anticipation with the no parking, I was gonna have loading zone only signs here,
Okay.
with the loading zone being from here to here. To where I can come out with a forklift
Okay.
and load it onto the trailer.
I would like to see those loading times go all the way down that building. Just for safety purposes of your customers, because even those parallel spots, you gotta look at the spot closest to the red X on the blue building. When they back out, they're hitting the front of that car, unfortunately. Like, I know it's 20 feet, but your average car is 18 to 22 feet. If there's a car in that light yellow spot right above it, and you back out, you're almost guaranteed to hit the front of that car. Like, and I hate to say that, but if you're busy and people are in and out and it's a bunch of good stuff, somebody's hitting that car. So, I'm not even so sure those three parallel parking spots there don't need to be removed. I hate to do that, but in all honesty, you'd be better off to put them where the antique wholesale sign is, by three regular pull-ins, if there's enough space there. Because
I think those are gonna be in the right of way.
you think they are?
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay then.
Oh, so looking at the last, you can see
Yeah.
how close that,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
that border comes down to the corner of the building.
Oh, I got you, because the right of way is way bigger over there. So really parking space on the north, but to the north where the semi is, that's in the right of way too, ain't it? Technically?
It looks like it, yeah, it looks like those last two spots probably spin into the right of way.
You really need that other lot for overflow parking. I really think that needs to be deeded together for overflow parking. And that's my honest opinion, but I think the only way I see this making any sense is if you have that parking lot, truthfully. I know he doesn't wanna do that, but you can always change that later, can't you?
Yeah, and I know he had indicated at the last meeting that he had a plan for it, and I guess that's a little concerning, because if there's a plan, that means either you're losing the parking lot or getting shoved out, and if you lose the parking lot, it's gonna void out everything you got if they would give it to you, there's no way to get more parking. So it's kind of a either or type thing for him.
I think you have to have the parking lot. I really do, in all honesty, like, I hate to say that, but I think if you want this design to make sense, you have to have that parking lot, because where your parking spots are, you're losing so many, I mean, you have the one parking up on the red building, which you have a parking, which is basically on the right of way there as well.
Yeah.
The two right where the semi is, or the four right where the semi is, that's definitely in the right of way, 100%. And the one where I was telling you to put it where the Syracuse sign is, that was in the right of way too, so you're losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the three parallels, 7, 8, 9, you're losing 9 parking spaces. You can make those up times 5, realistically, across that street. I think you have to have that. I really do. And then this design would make more sense. I think the antique store, the wholesale is great. Syracuse, I think we need something like that. Do we need another coffee shop? We got 5 of them, probably not, but hey, there's one on the north side of town, which nobody has, so I get that. But I don't see it happening without that other parking lot, and I'm just speaking as a whole. I don't know what my peers have to say, but I think you have to have that parking lot.
This is a walk-up coffee shop, right? There's no intention to have a drive-through.
There's no intent for a drive-through, it would be only inside.
Okay, and so the reason I raise that too is there's an example here in town of a coffee shop that has very little parking, and if you look at how people choose to park, because there isn't sufficient parking, that causes me to agree with.
There's actually a couple of them. Yeah, two, I think, really truthfully, that actually don't have the parking capacity for what they need.
Right.
So that concerns me too, and I think honestly, that, I know Wayne doesn't wanna do that, but that would make the only way to make sense for what you're trying to run. Because then you don't have to worry about people living in trailers, employees need to park over there, they can, you can move those that direction and you're okay, but it's really tight. I mean, and you don't wanna risk your insurance, somebody backing in there hitting a car, it's on you at the end of the day, because you put those parking spaces there. I own a business and I get the business insurance, and you don't wanna pay that for somebody else not knowing how to drive their car. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna come back on you and say that car shouldn't have been there. So,
What's in that blue building?
dry storage. Have you talked to him about allowing you to have that parking space?
I have, we were hoping to have it in the lease for the lease confined it, but, I think he is open to, considering that.
He's your father-in-law, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I really would just talk to him and say, hey, like, if you want this all makes sense, I know you're leasing it, I know that's not cheap, that's a lot of retail space. Because at the end of the day, eventually, if he decides to do something differently, once your business is out, technically he could split them, correct? Or once they're demerged together.
So, depending, if it's coming in, if that building's empty, there's no use in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, so that said, you could kind of throw for any next use that wants to go in there.
I'm just saying, if you ever wanted to sell it
Yeah.
and did want to be like, hey, I'm done with this building,
Yeah.
you have that option, but
You can split them back.
you need that parking space. I think that the only safe way for you to park is to have that parking space. Because then they can walk right across the street and, I mean, you've gained what, 30 parking spaces at least? Which then would balance out what you're trying to do. And in Syracuse, if you think you're not gonna be busy in there, you're crazy. That's gonna be busy. An antique store, wholesale, yeah, and I know you are, but you need those parking spaces for safety, especially, you know? People to walk across that road that doesn't get used much as to try to park and back out on the 13, that's asking for a fatality, unfortunately. Like, it really is.
Totally kind of going a different, have you looked at what it's gonna take to renovate the building legally for state permits and whatnot? Have you,
Yes.
okay, because I know there was some concern with that by the local inspector and your commercial, so changing use to now a more public type situation could get involved.
So are you planning on putting a firewall from the coffee shop commons? Because I know there's no sprinkler systems in there. So legally, all the red building from where it touches the commercial space, you would technically need a firewall. Truthfully. And that's how I took it.
You would need to file for state permits, and they're gonna tell you what, they could come back and say you gotta sprinkle it, or give you options. That is, I'm not that guy, that's not my expertise, but talking and hearing from the state folks enough, it's more involved than just throwing up some walls.
I know Wayne was against the sprinklers, because I know it's gonna cost, but And they may come back and say, hey, you have to have a firewall between the white and the red building, and you just need to sprinkle the coffee shop. That could be, but we have no idea. So you talk to them.
That would be part of purview, yeah.
So during the previous variance hearing, there was some discussion about new overhead doors.
Mhm.
Have those been installed?
The one on the south side has, we are waiting, I think Monday, the one on the west side of the main building will be installed, and then.
Where that X is?
Just south of it. It's kind of hard to see on the drawing, but yeah, we were.
Right there, okay,
This one will be installed for 2 or 3 weeks.
okay.
But where we have the red X for that being, that, there's no longer gonna, no, to your right. There's no longer gonna be a door there, or on the front, correct?
This is going to turn into like a glass double door.
Okay.
Okay.
This door on the side will be going away.
And then on the or on the south, where the parking spots are, we talked about a door there, there's none going in there, correct?
There's an overhead door here.
Okay.
That would just be blocked for during operation.
Okay.
So where will your main entrance to the store be?
And then coffee shop entrance will be the red X on the building or the blue one? Okay.
One of those two, or both entrances.
Okay.
And looking at, and I go from your drawing where, like that upper right-hand corner of the drawing portion, where there's 3 parking spots, and then I look over to our aerial photo, and I see those 3 spots, but I also see where the right-of-way line is. You might be able to get one more spot up there. But, and I know it seems like the building is far away from the center line, but I have seen cars coming around that corner, I mean.
All the way off the road?
Yeah, off the road, and at one time I was at the post office across the street, heard and saw, a car going into the parking, which you don't want, I mean, obviously. So that's why we're concerned about where you're planning on counting the parking spaces. And you all are the coffee
Yes.
operators?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I was sort of counting up the people, so you've got a couple of employees.
Yeah.
And then selling it on Facebook Marketplace and eBay, maybe 1 or 2 customers at any time.
So
Not more than that, hopefully.
my anticipation with the Facebook, strong on Facebook, I'm hoping that will minimize over time with this, with focus on the store in-store sales.
Okay, okay.
Maybe in the goal.
And so that would be then shipping out by UPS or whomever.
We do drop off.
Okay, drop shipping? Okay.
We take it.
Okay. So as far as people-wise, from your side of the business, then we've got a half dozen.
There would be, I would say, including myself, there would be 3 employees total.
Okay.
2 on shift at the most.
Okay,
Would be like two employees actively working,
okay,
with the third person being solo schedule.
okay.
How many employees do you guys have? Ken?
We'd be running it just us. We wouldn't be doing the food operation though either. So
Just
it'd
coffee.
Just be just the coffee,
Gotcha.
and then just like buying bakers from someone else.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So smaller operation.
And then your vendors periodically coming in to
Right.
swap out their.
And that would be, we would encourage the vendors to come on closed days.
What days are you guys gonna be open to the coffee shop?
We want to do Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're saying of like Wednesday through Saturday, but we would still want to just operate the.
Normal, okay.
Yeah.
Because we want both of you to be successful, obviously.
Right.
I mean,
Best case scenario is you don't have enough parking, which is also the worst case.
Right.
yeah,
But I think with that separate lot, if we include that, realistically, from what I've done, I mean, look at when it was a factory, there's at least 30 spots there. Probably 40 most days.
Yeah.
So if you've got that, you excise, you get rid of the 3 parallel on the side of the building. Realistically, you've got maybe 3 on the north end, up in that corner where you have the 3. You're pushing it through, but you may be able to fit those. You're losing a couple on the south side of the building right there because they're in the right of way. That's not safe for anybody to park. I know it's far to walk to the coffee shop, but realistically, you've got maybe 3 customers. If you can do employee parking across the road, you're probably not having more than 3. We've got a bunch of coffee shops, so realistically, someone's coming into town, they see it, somebody might pop in, but you're not gonna have a bunch of coffee shop parking all the time. And if they really want that coffee, they will walk across the road. So you're probably looking at, even if you get rid of those parking spots, what, 45 parking spots realistically with the side parking?
It's about a quarter acre of useful ground across, so obviously take your lanes out of that.
Right,
So
so probably 45, 50,
Yeah.
with the couple that they're keeping over here. Which you're getting way more parking and way fewer parking, which we are making. Have somebody get hit on your lot, it's not worth parking them close, you know? Keep a couple, I would say, up close for handicap parking maybe.
Mhm.
If for the coffee shop, antique stores, I would keep a couple of those for handicap, that way it's safe for them to get over to where they're going, but I would do the majority of your parking on that cross lot if Wayne is okay with it.
I would also encourage really looking at your entrance and they're walking in the right way to get out there.
That was my main concern.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, so you really gotta consider where they're going for those spots to get into. I mean, and obviously you're hoping no one ever drives into that right away, but it does cut through the corner of that building.
How are you gonna handle golf carts? No,
Yeah.
you're right, though. It's illegal for a golf cart to be on state right away.
Yeah, you can cross it, you can
You
cross
can
it.
cross it,
Yeah.
but you can't let it go along it.
Right, which,
But you see that,
I do it all the time on something like that, but I shouldn't say that, but we do. It is what it is, but at the same time, like, yeah, those are all things to really consider.
I mean,
I'm with you on that,
I
too.
almost got hit by an off-roader with a salt spreader in the back, I mean, flying down 13. I mean, you see the golf carts running up down 13 all
Oh,
the
yeah,
time.
they get pulled over all the time.
I got pulled over one time, so I give it to them. They're good about it, but it happens. So, Wayne is okay with, if we
And
were to
I'm
pass
thinking,
it.
all that campgrounds is gonna be back there.
Yeah, correct, but you gotta think all those people are gonna be driving down 29, that's another good point.
Well, they come down,
Right.
Yeah, but they'll still have to go up the right of way to get to the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Not to park across the road.
What if I would get, or change the parking on the west side of the main building there, parallel parking, if I turn that into golf cart type parking only, or go from 8.5 feet wide to,
I mean, I would feel better about that personally, because I'm way less worried about somebody getting a $5,000 golf cart than I am a $60,000 car. You know, that's on them, but at the same time, you do gain, now you're at 2060, rather than, you know, I think that would be better.
Yeah.
I think that would be safer.
And you would have to police it.
That's the only problem,
It's a great offer.
maintaining it.
I'm lazy. I park up by the coffee shop to get the coffee and.
I'm going through the grass.
I'm
On the north
sure you're just moving a
Yeah.
lot to the coffee shop and to the other side of the west side of the building.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
think
now I have to walk all the way around.
Mhm.
Where if I were just parking in the lot,
that's the only place that has plumbing on the lot. Like, feasible, like, realistic, fund-wise, that makes sense for the coffee shop, is the office. Okay.
for electrical.
The cheapest conversion.
Yeah.
And as far as usable space, that space being used in these stores even as well.
Right.
If you've ever been down south to the Tunnel Bridge Festival, they'll use every building they can.
Right.
My mother-in-law does that show, yeah.
Yeah, so-
It's insane.
Trust me, they can stick antiques anywhere.
But, I mean, I totally get where you're coming from with the coffee shop. I think that I'm still stuck on that lot. You have to have that for parking. If this is gonna make sense, and if Wayne's okay with that, I mean, we're putting that, if this passes, everyone here, I guarantee, is putting that in their notes, that has to be, and we discussed this last time, he did together. I know he doesn't want to, but I think this makes the most sense for this I really do, because you're never gonna get a space in there, you know, multi-use, unless you have that parking. This lot, unfortunately, and I know he didn't know when he bought it, but that right of way being through all those buildings just really hurts them. I mean, your right of way is terrible there, unfortunately, and it is what it is, but at the end of the day, that's commercial real estate on a busy main highway. I mean,
I guess the question I have for, say Wayne decides he wants to do something on that lot, it would be something with it being gated together, he'd come in, have it as an additional use on the same lot.
if you were gone,
Well, yeah,
technically, that building was empty.
he could ask,
Right.
but it's gonna be a hard sell.
There's just no parking anywhere else for you, you know, like, if you demolish
Like,
108, you
it would
could
be
turn that into parking, maybe.
It'd be something that would have to be low no parking or the parking lot would be, yeah.
I don't think that even makes sense for what you're doing. If we were to add something over there, it wouldn't make sense. And I'm speaking from somebody that's like, hey, this is my last meeting, so I'm going off of everyone else's stuff, but absolutely not. If you need that parking for you, then what are we gonna put there that he doesn't need any parking? And there's a building there, so now we're losing parking, and a quarter acre is not very big. You know, so I think until he decided to, and it'd even be hard to sell that building and put something else there because they're losing all their parking for that building. I think those need to be deeded together forever, unfortunately, like, hate to say that, but for parking lots, until some of that building left, that's the only thing that makes sense in my brain.
I agree with you, and I think that's an advantage, Ken, to be able to sell that.
I think you
Like,
have to
solve
have,
the problem.
yeah, you have to have that parking for that building, even for any other commercial space, because, you know, when that was a factory, look up, that parking lot was full every day, because that's the only place those people would park. You know, you had those 2-3 office spaces up there, but those were the office people, and that's it. Everyone else parked over there. There's no parking anywhere else. You know, and I think that's really the only safe. And with that right of way being there, today's standards, that building wouldn't have been able to even go up there. Like it couldn't have been that big, or they would have not allowed it. Because it's not safe, you know? That whole west or east wing from the east wing, from the west wing over, those 3 other little buildings, including the office, those all would have had to go bye-bye in order to make parking for that place. That's the only way it would make sense. And I wanna see something in there, because I hate to see it empty, but we have to have that parking.
So, coffee folks,
Yeah.
why, do you have any questions, or, I mean, obviously you can see our concern is the parking, and
Yeah.
you're probably gonna have more customers. You know, he's got his few wholesale customers or shipping out and things like that, but your target are just drive in, run in,
Yeah.
grab a cup of coffee. Do you see our concern with,
Yeah.
where's your customer gonna park?
One thing that we kind of thought is we wanted kind of good online ordering of where they can come in, pick up their coffee, get out of there quick. So as far as like those 3 parking spots, that's ideally what we would want to have as much of that to be, so that there isn't as much of like overflow going to those next areas. But I mean, I do understand that like it probably has to be a little bit of a walk to get there, but yeah, I think they'll still walk that way, even if it's coming into the place first and then coming to the coffee shop.
I think you'll share a lot of value from the retail portion
Yes.
of the antique shop, but also then with the campground, that's another
Yeah.
source of business, right?
Yeah.
And one you want to capture, but I don't know that you can predict that people will order online versus.
Yeah. That'd be more for the consistent ones. So.
I don't wanna interrupt, but can you
Yeah.
get your guys' names real quick?
Nathan, and it's my wife Ashley.
Miller.
Miller. Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say kind of the same thing as, you know, parking's gonna be up to you to enforce too,
Yeah.
which is not, you know, and that's kind of the human nature. I've been around long enough, I know human nature is what it is, and we're all lazy geeks.
I would like to see if any of those spots are in the right of way, if you want my honest opinion, I'd like to see those blocked.
Well,
I mean, truthfully, like the ones that are in their ex name, that are no parking,
yeah,
I would like to see those blocked. So people can't park there, so they don't have to leave. Somebody's gonna park there.
Oh. And I think blocking, all that's gonna do is push them out further.
Okay.
That'll push
So
them
signs maybe and just call it a day, or just put police it?
Yeah, again, I think I can safely answer what you want them to be.
Right, right. Yeah, 100%.
So you could call signs that say online orders only, take out.
Well, I wouldn't wanna do that, but I think that if you can at least try to keep some of the ones that are in really unsafe spots. I mean, I think right where the semis parked, realistically, you could fit one or two there safely, but,
One big handful.
right. So it's gonna be really hard to, I'm just worried about 13, honestly, that might be concern, because people are crazy.
Also on the west side of the building, there's no boundary for you. Is it?
Yeah,
It's all housing?
yeah.
And their lot line,
Everything around the house.
their lot line is literally on the side of that building.
So, there'd be, when you're thinking one handicap here, 1 to 2 home.
I thought that if you do the handicap, it could depend on where your entrances are as far as like coffee shop entrance, I think you need at least one handicap spot for that. I put that one closest to the coffee shop. I put one handicap closest to your building, so they can get in comfortably. And then I think as many spots as you can fit that are not in the right of way, that are still safe to travel. I know you're probably go farther than that right of way, but you just really don't want to, I don't want to see somebody get killed there either. So I think you're really only fitting maybe 2 by the coffee shop, like on this side, the south side of the building. Yeah, where the semi dock is. I think you're realistically fitting a handicap spot there for your thing, and maybe one more, so top.
So the fence there will be going away. That's where I was anticipating the handicap spot.
Okay. Oh, well, see, that makes a total difference, because that's gone. So you have, I mean, really, you're still picking 1 or 2 spots there max. But where the semi dock is, that semi right now is in the right of way.
Yeah, so when you go across the,
That's just a tough back out, because traffic's coming from your, from the backside there.
so this is where the semi is.
Correct.
So I'd be losing, 1 to 2 of these and 1 of these.
I would say comfortably, and I would say to do the parking not parallel that way, but the opposite direction. Yeah, because then when you back out, you can see oncoming traffic, rather than backing straight into oncoming traffic.
Either be this way, so you can do that.
I think so.
All the parking will be coming off of.
Yeah, because then you're still losing 2 spots there, but I think you can gain 1 spot where the blue area is. Nope, down, right there. Yeah, because then I think you could park 2 there comfortably, because you're not coming out as far, you know what I mean? So, you're gaining a spot there, you're losing 2 on the top side, the north side, but it's just gonna be safer backing out that way to view coming down 13, because now, I think you're backing out that way, you're backing into oncoming traffic, and you're also backing into other cars that are parked. So you gotta come straight out, which is putting you straight into 13. You come out this way, you can come at a slight angle and see what's coming, rather than vice versa. I just don't think that's very safe, unfortunately. How do you feel about that?
I think you're kind of answering some of your own questions, that if there's the same problems with parking, we gotta start thinking.
I think the other lot has to be had, I'm just saying, I think you have to lose a couple safely.
I think what I'm getting at, is it creating a more dangerous situation? If we have to redesign a parking situation, I think we need to, I don't know.
Revisit it?
It's a hard situation, it's a hard property to work with, and it's a dangerous situation. I don't think anybody wants to create for anybody. I mean, them, you.
Oh, I agree.
And you want it to be successful.
Right.
But as I said, that can breed its own problems with that. I think, looking at it, I think the biggest issue is the location of the coffee shop on the whole property. I understand why you want it there, that makes sense. I think if it was in a lower section of the building where that wasn't an issue, I've seen the problems raised by some of this coffee shop. Again, the coffee shops we've mentioned with parking, they meet the parking requirements. So it's very how They do, yeah.
And people still do crazy things.
Yeah.
I think the unfortunate thing, like Matt's saying, I think 108 would be your best coffee shop.
That's what I was trying to get.
I mean, I really do, because you have more space, your common area, I know you have to walk across, but you can turn that up top where the coffee shop is in common space into retail space a lot easier, and then your parking spots, you're close to the coffee shop, you're close still to the antique store, you're close to wholesale, across the street parking is right there, but I
Or
think,
even the end of the main building.
but yeah, that's true too. Because then,
Down here,
right there,
where the overhead door is.
I know it's harder to do.
There's a coffee shop at a gas station in Warsaw, they have their overhead door.
They're awesome, it's awesome, it's glass, they keep it open,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's a cool vibe, but I know it's less work and less money to put it up there, but I'm with Matt, I think it's dangerous.
So, do you know within the footprint of this building, as far as where the water comes in, all the water and the sewer lines are up there, right?
The water comes in here,
Okay.
and then sewer, forget which way, I think it goes out towards 13, but there's bathroom here and here.
Okay.
Those are only two bathrooms.
So these are single occupant bathrooms, these are 2 to 3
Okay.
per bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be financially viable to go and add it all the way down here. It would be too much tear out of cutting.
Are there restrooms in the other building? It had an office at one point.
There is one restroom here, but it needs,
But the plumbing's there as far as water and sewer goes.
right. I don't know the condition of that part of it, though.
I mean, that, at the end of the day, if you could put it there, this would be a lot easier decision for us. For safety, for traffic. I mean, you could turn the common area into dry storage. And if the coffee shop had 108, they have enough dry storage on their own, because that'd be a huge coffee shop.
And then, since it's sort of a separate building, if you chose to do your own baking and food and things like that, it's a separate building.
Yeah.
And then with the health department, you're just a little limited area.
Yeah.
But I know it's your money, and, I let me spend your money for you. But,
Growth opportunity, though.
yeah, and maybe that's something future plan wise. If it's going gangbusters, and you wanna go, 6 days a week, and then your days of the week, you wouldn't have to worry about that, so.
I wouldn't be against doing that in the future, as far as having that, like, if they go crazy to where they outgrow that, probably I wouldn't be against it in the future, but I don't know how viable it would be.
Because by outgoing, it's probably just a couple customers because of parking. And then your business could grow as well and take over those spots and throw out more retail. So, but I am concerned about, parking. And that's why there's ordinances that say so many square feet, you need so many parking spots. And then we try to justify it by so many employees, so many spots. And then we look at customer count, so many spots, so.
And that's also a consideration. I mean, if this, we're gonna take off as you want, 6 days a week, I don't know how many hours a day you plan to be open, but you may be looking at adding an employee, and then we have an additional person we need to be able to.
What would happen if they put I would hate to even bring it up, but not a food truck, but like a food trailer in that building 108.
That's a whole nother can of worms, then.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know,
Just for my own knowledge.
as far as health code, there's a lot of different, regulations for doing that.
Okay.
So that's why, as far as that building for 108, it would have a lot of work in order to make it a coffee shop. 'Cause, like, you can do those things, but like, if you're staying in one spot, I don't think you can have just getting out of a water jug.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause there has to be, you know, a place to wash hands, things like that, I completely understand. And, you know, the health department would be in there looking, so. Okay.
Any more questions?
No.
You're good. I think we're good. Do we have any public comment?
We did have a letter from, I'm not gonna say Vermonter, just from the town inspector, bringing up some of the points that I noted for you guys, so.
Okay, is anyone else here for? Anyone else here again? Okay, we'll close it to public comment.
I'd, like to double check on some of the conditions. If we do grant, you know, the, no parking signs on the building of 108, just to, making sure there's no parking being counted within the right of way.
I think we need to get rid of those 3 parallel parking spaces as well, truthfully, to avoid any accidents. Well, technically those 4. 20 feet's not really enough for somebody to comfortably back, I mean, a truck and trailer is 8 feet wide, at least 4 foot on each side. That just needs to be.
Yeah. Bless you. So we do,
I don't know, I think the parking has to be, those lots have to be a parking.
yeah. Yeah, so,
Indeed,
as,
as we spoke on last time.
yeah. Cause that was one of our conditions last time, and it's like, if you can't follow the conditions from last time, please follow them this time. So, unless you come before us with another change of plans, which you're entitled to do, I mean, and if it's a different improvement, you know, like the coffee, so.
I'm really struggling with this one personally. If you want my honest opinion, I'm more against it than I'm for it, just because of, I don't wanna see someone die, I wanna see something in there, but we're really nervous about parking.
I am too, on that east side,
Yeah,
and then people walk.
well,
That's fine, people are gonna park in the lot across the street, go over and do their antique shopping, and then have to basically walk.
I'm more
Isn't
nervous
that
about
right?
them walking around parking to get, you know, if there's no cars there on that east side, that's one thing, but if there's cars, now you're walking around 20 feet, you're almost on the white line of 13, unfortunately, realistically, if we're looking at the street view.
I'm less concerned about antique shops because they can access the coffee shop from inside the building. I'm more concerned.
Well, they can?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then I misunderstood that.
Yeah.
Okay.
that top red left area is
The
common
common
area.
Okay, I misunderstood that.
But the coffee shop people I'm worried about, because you know people, like Matt said, people are gonna park wherever they wanna park. That's,
Closest to the door.
that's,
Yeah, get me out.
yeah. Especially on 13. I mean, if it was any other road other than 13, I'd be a lot less stressed out about it. You know?
So just take all the parking away up on that side. Does that leave enough spots across the street?
7, 8, 9, 10, that leaves us 10, 30 on the other side roughly, that's 40, 11 more than they have, but I think even, I hate to take away, you have to have handicap. so
Right.
Gotta be at least 2 over there.
And if it's all those spots on the very far north, those 3.
I think those are the safest spots.
Yeah, and if you mark those as handicap, I'm pulling in and.
You're parking, yeah, and I'm giving you a ticket, but you're parking.
I'm just thinking, you know,
I'm leaving a business card.
yeah.
It's a hard,
So, yeah, it is difficult, but I want to see a business
I do too.
in that building.
No.
And I wanna position it in such a way that they're gonna be successful, but also have restrictions and
Public safety.
and, you know, time some conditions that we get our job done, and it still allows them to get their job done.
I think the overall business plan makes sense, I really do. I think it's, in my honest opinion, I'm with you, like, if we can get that bottom parking lot with it,
That's the only way I agree with you.
100%, me
Okay.
too, I'm with that, I think we have to have that, or it
But
doesn't.
they have a stipulation or.
Yeah, and I'm with you, I'm not for it unless we have that southern parking lot, because it just doesn't make sense,
Okay.
safety wise.
I think we don't agree on that.
Yes. Then, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the variances. The first one with multiple uses, and changing it to now it's the antique and wholesale, as well as a coffee shop. But, the other part of the variance is the parking situation. Item number one is that the, property across the street, that those be deeded together to allow employees to park there. It also allows any traffic to pull in off of 13 into that parking space and back into where you can load and unload.
As well as overflow parking, right?
Yes, and that, you know, uses overflow. Along the sign, the 108, that side of the building, make sure that there's signs for no parking on that building, so people don't pull in there and think it's a spot, even though it may not be marked, but make it as clear as possible. And then your changes that you spoke of, moving them from going perpendicular to making them horizontal. So it's hopefully safer backing out towards 13. So, yes, and obviously no parking in the right of way, because that's not your property, so.
And that one addition you could add to that, and we've done it in the past, that if that does become a consistent problem, they must repetition the board,
Okay.
which gives some incentive to stay on top of it.
Okay. Understood, so. And it just because of where 13 in the property line runs, I think that may be more of the coffee, you know, in and out. You know, and depending upon where the displays are for the antique and things like that. Cause we want you to do well, and we want you to sell lots of things. But it's also, you know, we have to be somewhat concerned about people coming in with their pickup trucks and trailers and then, you know, parking right along the fog line. I mean, no, they can't park there. You know. Okay, so, and that was my motion in multiple words.
Well, your variance has been granted with.
Well, we have to vote.
All the votes, you're right. All that vote aye? Aye. Aye. All that vote no?
I like it better when you do it.
Pretty fluid.
I don't gotta remember anything.
You'll get those results in the mail, so if something, feel free to give us a call, but. And then that will have the verbiage that will need to go on the deed for all those properties.
Before today.
Yeah.
Can we combine them on one sheet, or do we have to do
Do them separate just in case, theoretically, I don't think we could do, but it could be appealed on one part, but not the other.
Yeah, so, 32 is the parking. And 33 is the 2 uses.
do need to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
Perfect.
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Say nay. Okay, I got one more for you, just more clarification. I wasn't here, so I need a little insight. Brandon, Matt, you guys definitely were here. I know Corey was on the board at that time. Property that Shanahan's up right there. We had a hearing for that back in '23 for James George. And that was for a carport that was gonna get added onto the building on the south end side. Remember that?
I do.
Okay. The hearing was a little vague, and even how it was written was vague, how it was approved is vague, whether or not that carport was intended to be attached or not. Looking at the plans, I kind of think it was, but there's some questions.
Was it lakeside or not lakeside?
Not lakeside, and it's actually showing up on there.
Yeah.
So it ends up, it was attached.
Yeah.
Was that your understanding at the time of the hearing that that carport would be attached to the building, and that was how it was approved?
Yeah, because Steve Snyder actually presented.
Great memory, yeah.
Yeah, because, the idea was that it would, add a sunshade, but since it's the north side of the building, which of course the sun going from east to west is already shaded.
Now I remember exactly what you're talking about. That was one guy that wanted to put the pickleball court in the driveway.
Yeah.
100% it was supposed to be that.
Okay,
Yeah.
these are things.
Yeah, now I remember that, yeah.
And it was not a full width.
Right.
No,
It was only a.
it's like a porch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big pretty porch.
Was
side,
it attached?
Yeah.
sides open.
Okay, that's all the clarification we needed, because it was vague enough, like, I don't know what we issued, what we did. The minutes just weren't clear enough to give us any.
Okay.
So,
Okay, yeah, because he basically wanted, because he has people over on the weekends to play pickleball.
Yeah.
He wanted a patio, basically covered patio,
Yeah.
for them to hang out on there.
they're heathens and playing outside.
Yeah. Well, there's always people, listen, I live down the street, there's always people pickleballing in that driveway, dude, always. And they do hang out underneath that patio quite regularly.
Yeah.
No, that was all I needed there, so that works perfect. I appreciate it.
Okay. It didn't invade my mind until you said they wanted that patio, and I remember pickleball court.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that.
That's all I have for you, other than, I do wanna thank Brandon for his service,
Yeah.
because
I'm sad to leave,
I really think, you know this, it's a thankless job.
Yeah.
You know, your volunteers that don't always get the acknowledgement of what work you're putting in. It's one meeting a month, but there's more to it, and none of your decisions are taken lightly. So
Well, I'm happy to be
you're
here with
welcome.
all of you, and I'm really sad to leave. But with that being said, we do need to appoint a new president. Do we have any recommendations?
I would make a motion that we elevate the vice to the presidential chair.
I'll second it.
Because you weren't here when you were elected as vice.
I know how that goes.
He showed up tonight, didn't he?
We need to vote on it.
Yeah, do we have a vote for that?
Aye. Okay, congratulations.
And thank you, elected new
I
vice.
know.
And I would, nominate Tim to be the vice. And, again, following in our, thoughts of everyone getting an opportunity to sit in the chair with the hammer.
This is the first day I've sat in the chair with papers, I let Matt do it, now I feel weird.
Yeah. So, but if you'd accept, okay. So now we can
Yeah.
vote on that.
Vote on that?
You can vote on that.
Aye.
I,
Well, you get a call for the.
Randy did.
Okay.
Say Randy.
Yeah.
That's why I always let you do it, because I'm always just like, yeah, sure, sounds good, Matt.
Ellen, okay, I'll tell you this now. There is somewhere in our minutes an order of how to proceed as chairman.
I never got these notes.
I never got
Well,
those.
I will try to find that,
Yeah.
because it was one of our previous boards who actually typed it up. It was,
We need those.
it goes way back to the Steve Sharp, John Brummeyer, yeah, so.
so it's done on typewriter?
Yeah.
Probably done on a a chalkboard.
Oh my God. Well, with that all being said, I would make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Alright.
Thank you all.
Yeah, so Dave, we need to find his replacement.
I actually have somebody that
You
is
got somebody in
interested. I do. I have one of my neighbors that's actually his kid's buying my house. Super good, well-rounded. He's gonna come tonight, but he's sick. And thank goodness, because I feel all of your sniffling and I'm fine. I just want to get him in contact with.
send me my way.
I will, because he's super, he already said, he's like, hey, I'll come attend the meeting, and I was like, that was my one mission, to find somebody to replace me.
Cause it took me a year to replace an RDC.
I know, and I was there, well, Dan, welcome back.
Thank you.
Because I was gonna send you an email if you weren't here today, asking how you're doing. Oh, I'm glad everyone's back, but I will get in contact with you guys, that way we can keep this forward.
Perfect, thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, I'm bummed to be leaving, but I'm moving out of town, and I finally got property in a bigger house, so part of me is very happy about that too. Well, I have too much stuff.